What's up guys, it's me Lee Nav. I'm basically here to tell you how to take apart your Audi A3 or S3 or RS3. It's the 8V, which is 2000, what is it, 14 to 16? Something like that, but it's an 8V pretty much. So right now I got the door card off and I'll be showing you how to do that first. I'm a rapper basically, I wrap cars. So there's the next panel that I'm gonna do. And I'm doing my car gold. This is my personal car and it is blue, so you do see like all the blue still on the inside. Okay, so to get this door off, basically you have to get this little part off, and you can get it off with a little trim tool kind of like this, or you can put a screwdriver in there, but obviously this is plastic, so it might be hard to scratch it up with plastic versus scratching it up with a metal screwdriver. So you pretty much stick it in this part, get it up a little bit, get your fingers in there, jiggle. That's like the basic Audi motion, is to jiggle. No, don't just pry it, because it will pop one of these sensitive little plastic tools. So once you get that, make sure to do it from this side, because these right here, these ones won't shimmy out. Those are like hooks that hook around the back. Once you get that off, there's 1, 2 screws behind here, and they're torque 25s. And then there's another one that's already exposed behind here, right there. You're gonna need an extension. I recommend using one of these, a 1/4 inch. You could use the other ones too, but you're gonna need this to get behind here anyways. So might as well just go with this. And then you pretty much just take those out, and you'll be able to move on to taking off the door card with this. All you do is stick it in the corner down here. Stick it in there pretty good. We want to get it to like maybe up to here. Then you start shimming it until you hear a pop. Once you hear that pop, put your fingers in there and just work your way around here and pop out the other little clips. So the clips are located all the way around here, all the way up to here. Then when you got all those out, it'll lean forward. Then you could shove it up. Once you shove it up, it's like basically on a little curve like that. This whole piece is sitting on a little curve that's made out of metal. So pretty much once you get all those clips out, you push it up, and this bad boy the whole thing will come off. Don't pull it too hard, because there's actually some wires that connect from this part and this part to the main door, the part you're taking it off. So just take those little connectors off and you'll be good to go. All right, so this is what we got here. The speaker actually goes right there, but I took it off because I dropped one of these bolts. So I'm gonna show you how to not drop a bolt and have to do extra work, because this came out and basically this bolt was sitting right there. It's not too hard to take this out, by the way. It's only these 4 torque screws, and then you pretty much, these are dowel pins. Fancy word for little pegs that go on the back of this that are attached to this, and you just pull straight out. It just helps you align it. All right, so these wires right here go to that mirror, and basically this is tucked into this little cutout right here. But before you can really pop this out and shove it in the hole, you actually have to pop this wire out and this wire out. This wire is connected to this wire right here that comes out of this little 3-wire finger looking thingy. And basically this thing actually acts as a rail right here. You see that little part, and it slides directly onto this. How you take this off is you use one of these little pick tools right here, or you can use a small screwdriver, and you want to get this middle piece right here that I'm pointing at with my nail. That's my nail's touching. See how it has a hook right there? You want to pull it, basically pull it down. And I think it's actually pulling up when you flip it around. And when you do that, you'll be able to slide it out that way and put it on the same way that you got it off. Don't forget, just kind of like slide it on like that. So once we got this slid on, we can now take this little wire and plug that bad boy in right there at the bottom. And you take this wire out by taking this little tab right here, and then you pull it up. It's a little flimsy. So you take this little pick tool, pull that up, and you could pull the wire directly out, just like that. Okay, now we move on to the next wire. Go ahead and put that in. By the way, this is for your uninstall and install. So whereas, you know, I would go backwards and show you the steps, I'm just kind of showing you just so that you'll be able to get it done. The wire right here actually goes right up here, and it just plugs right in. And then that little red tab right there, you would have to pull it out, but I'm going to push it in order to secure that. Now it's time to put this little grommet on. Okay, so this is the trickiest part of it all. If you're removing the mirror, this is the mirror part only. If you're not moving the mirror and you want to move the door handle, then skip to that portion. So right here, we got this open, right? There's 3 bolts back there. You'll only be able to see 2 of them from here, so that's why we got this off right now. So in order to take that mirror off, you have to go in there, and you have to be able to see it. So you got to grab your light. So I got my light right here, and whatever hole that you're not going to look into, you shine the light in that hole. It's going to make it 10 times easier. So you can see the bolt right there. That bolt is actually a 10 millimeter. So you use 10 millimeter for that bolt, and as well for these 2. These 2 holes are covered with a grommet as well. Take those off and put it in a safe spot. You can see where it actually is covering with the little outline, the little dirt outline. So there's also a couple of them in there as well. There's one right there, and then there's another one right there. It's kind of blurry, but you get what I'm trying. There we go. So you want to take those off. This is canted, so if you're looking through there, you're not going to see, you're not going to stick this 10 millimeter. By the way, you need an extension. So you're not going to stick, and I recommend you use this size, not the 3/8, but the 1/4. So you're not going to stick this straight in there and be able to find it. You actually have to cant it up like 45 degrees. And they do this so that you won't drop the bolt, but you will drop the bolt unless you have a magnet. So as you're sticking that in there, you also want to get a magnet in the other hole so that when you take the bolt all the way off, you stick the magnet right on top of the bolt and pull both of them out at the same time. And if you have a good enough magnet, it will not fall. If it does fall, it's going to fall all the way down here, and you're going to need to take this off, which is held by the same size Torx screws as you use to get the door panel off. And that's a 20, let's see, what is this? A 25, I believe. Yeah, 25. So you're going to use a 25. I use pretty much this impact because I've been using impacts for a while, but I recommend that you do not use an impact because if you over torque it, you might mess it up. And if you go too fast on the spin, you might throw out the bolt and it's going to fall anyways. So that's how you get the mirror part to come out. And once you get the wires off, you have to stuff it through here. And there's 2 guide rails for the window, one that goes right here and one that goes over here. And that's pretty much standard on every single window. This actually goes down and is held by a clip that you just pull out. You literally pull it out. It's one of those serrated or jagged edge clips. So you literally pull it out. You want to like shimmy it like that. Don't just yank it because you will break it. So kind of like shimmy it out with the cord, and it'll pop out, and then you shove it back underneath that support, and it's actually going to go around it. And be sure to like remember what it feels like, because if you do not get it right, then you run the risk of having the window come down on this cord, and you don't want that. So make sure this cord is wrapped around that part and go through the back of that railing system. You'll be able to tell what it is too, because you put your finger in there, you can actually feel like where it dips in like that. You could try to get a flashlight in there too. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do so, but hey, you might be able to see better than I could. And I just did it purely off feel. And there was no real videos on this, so I kind of just had to wing it. But then you shove all this part, and this part, unless you can get this off, but I found it easier just to leave it on there. All the way up throughout that hole, and there's a big old giant hole that you're going to leave. Make sure not to drop the mirror. So you can let it dangle if you want to, but I recommend holding it with one hand and guiding all this out with the other. And the easiest way to actually guide all this is to take off this and shove your hand through the speaker well up into where all this is located, because you won't be able to get it from anywhere else comfortably. Do not take this off. You could take this off too and go through there and shove your hand all the way up there. It's a little bit easier to take this off. You literally pull it. You can get a little pry tool in there too and pull it up. It's a big old giant hole, so you can use to take put your hand in there as well. It just depends on what you feel comfortable with. And yeah, you'll just be able to pull that out and pull all this assembly out. Basically just do the same thing backwards.